We come with nothing. We go with nothing. What does it mean? This universe is going to make sure that you're going to go with nothing, which means at some point before it's time for you to go, you will be faced with the fact of learning the necessity of letting go of what you have attained in this lifetime. And if you have not understood that this is going to come, it's a very, very hard awakening. It's a very painful awakening. To have this realization that you have spent 70 years, 80 years following your goal, and now there is no other choice. You have to let go. It's not my invention. It's just my observation. If you have the possibility of attaining everything that you were speaking about, you are absolutely happy to do so. You can own everything. It's never about promoting to have this is not good. No, but to have attachment, at least in this type of tradition, will have consequence. So it's not about what is it that you possess. It's about what of these possessions are possessing you. That's it. I do think that this universe is going to let you realize your lesson in the way how you need it. Yeah, you're going to have your mansion, you're going to have your beautiful wife, you're going to have it all. There is something that's going to put you back on track, telling you you need to readjust. Look, I make it super simple when it comes to the 5 hindrances. Literally, it's like this. Whatever appears in our life, if I have my goal set right now, what you are not supposed to do is to witness something. And now if you have like the number 1, sensual desire, sensory desire, what we tend to do is we like start to pull things towards us. Okay, that's number 1. The second thing, what not to do, this is what it all belongs to that family of non-judgment, is like when ill will, something appears in your life, something you witness, you meet a person you don't want to meet, you get a message, you don't want to read that message, whatever it is, and you try to avoid it by doing actions in order to push it away from you. So what it ultimately means is don't do any of them, because whatever you try to hold on to, the nature of thing is that this is happening.
Swinging away.
It's going to move away from you. And whatever you try to avoid and push away from you is just a question of time until it's going to move pretty close towards you. So that means, also in the way of how it's expressed, don't touch the water. If you don't want to have a life that is too shaky, don't touch the water. Because in the moment you touch, your touch is the initiation for the ripples to appear. Same way, you want to follow that goal, you want to have it easy along that goal. Don't touch any additional water along your goal. Don't touch it because you like something, and don't touch it because you dislike something. Because when you walk towards the goal and you do here and here and here, you're just gonna ripple your whole surroundings, which ultimately means your energy is being just drawn away from your initial goal. That's how I would say it is. And ill will is one of these expressions of you don't like something and then you invest the energy there. You like something and it draws your energy back to there. And ill will is similar in this category, belonging to this idea of don't push, don't pull. Unbalanced energies that can translate into anxiety, that can translate into dissatisfaction, that can translate into continuously searching and never being satisfied. And the most common thing, not realizing how precious the moments are that you have. And instead of replacing them with illusions and dreams and assumptions, which are just not real. Meaning, everybody is not even Buddhist, it's not Shaolin. It is common understanding. We don't know if we wake up tomorrow. It is like this, yeah. But our plans go, we have 5 years plans, 10 years plans. We have short-term, mid-term plans, yeah. The truth is, we don't know if we wake up tomorrow. Of course, I don't want to make it sound negative, so just live in the present moment without planning. This is not what I'm saying. But this is the challenge nowadays. How do you balance out vision with reality? The only thing real right now is this. That's real for us. I can feel it, you can hear it, you can sense it. This is real. And now just imagine you would be, let's say, the director of your own movie. Jump out of the body and watch yourself right now. You are sitting like with Shi Heng Yi, we sit on the same table, and you are writing your story. How do you want to write the story? After this podcast, you want to feel uncomfortable, feel unsafe, feel unloved, unsatisfied with the whole life, cry or anything like this? Or how do you imagine what is a really nice way of living for you the next 50 years? And based on that, purpose can be different. You say, I do like to travel. I do like to invest this lifetime in this body to have the feeling at least that I can contribute something to all the fellow brothers and sisters that are around there. It makes me I wake up, I like to do it. It gives me purpose. So it is something very, very personal. I do not believe that every human being has the same purpose. But now there's another type of purpose, which is more or less personally for me. Why do I think that in the first place we have been put with all these possibilities? And positively said, I do think it is a blessing being able to just experience. It's a blessing that we have been granted the possibility of simply experiencing what this existence is capable of creating, including everything. Including the joy, including the happiness, including the tears, including the heartbreaks, all of this, without the separation whether you prefer one area or not. Sometimes the one goes with the other. But the purpose, in a way, is just be and experience. The only thing that happens, and which is a big part nowadays, is if you take your current existence too serious. If you completely base your identity, your being, on what you think you are. It's just a picture right now. Just sometimes make it very simple. Jump out of yourself and be the director. Be the director of this avatar. And then it just opens another perspective. Because in that moment, you just realize it's like a movie. Not everything is always positive. But in the moment where there are times of struggle, still not being caught inside your own creation, identity, illusion of the self, different expressions for that. It's a very helpful way of thinking, let's put it like this. I very much appreciate so many different teachings that are meanwhile existing here, freely available, for example, through the social media, including breath work, including yoga practices, all of them. If you have a proper teacher, I'm very sure that this is exactly what is starting to raise your awareness for something that in this field, when you're spending some time, we refer to as energy. If you're not aware of your own innerst layer and somebody insults you, it can happen that somebody insulted me and then I just started exploding. Yeah, but the fact is, before something explodes, before I explode, first of all, something must be lit. The small little flame already must have been lit. So when I already knew who is it that I'm going to meet, maybe that already, hearing the name from him, already was, was already the starting point of a potential explosion to happen. Yeah. So then, this was where when this little flame already started being there. And then you literally can feel things like this. You can feel when something has been injected into you, when something starts to arise. Because when the fire is already too big, when the whole house is burning, you're not gonna put down that fire in any way. You can only put down all of these fires before things come too big. Meaning, we must find a way to be directly grabbing the root, grabbing the core, or grabbing the source of the explosion. And the only way that I know is you need to become more sensitive for everything that goes on in your body, in your surrounding, in everything. This is where, for me, awareness does play a role. And especially when it comes to becoming aware of your emotional states, this is absolutely inner work. This has nothing to do with doing work out here. It's inner work. I usually do not very much rely on what the people tell me, what they think, what problem they have. I look and I can see already what I think you need. And foremost, one of these, and it's very simple, non-religious, nothing about believing. It simply is the fact you don't use your body as it is intended to be. Very simple. Many people sit too much during the day. The body is not active at all. A lot of work, a lot of energy investment is done with the mind. Less energy investment is done really with the body. And that simply means I can see there's a disbalance. Whoever created us did not create us to sit with our butt on one place and do thinking work the whole time. A part of why we have been created is to get out on the field and just do something out there. So absolutely, there is the field of becoming conscious. Consciousness is a big field. Then we have science. This is another very, very big field. Some say, okay, is it that consciousness creates matter? Or is it the other way around? Which one is the fundamental basis? What is the basis of our interaction? So the truth is, the fact right now is, regardless of science, no science, how our evolution developed, right now, we are here. Your body, my body, we are here. This is what we are having right now. At the same time, in the way of how this lifestyle at the moment is, we won't have more than 50 more years to go in that body. So very simple, without believing, without any religious aspect, once again, the truth is the lifetime of what you carry right now and what I carry right now, it's limited. And this is why there are literally in the ancient traditions, in the text of Chan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, is very simply said like this. How do you know that you have practiced this path, this tradition in a decent manner? It is simply by feeling inside yourself how easy, how willing are you actually to let go of what you have. If you feel that you are mentally attached to things, mentally attached to possession, you're far away from the state of being what this Chan Buddhism, what this Chan teaching is wanting to reveal to you. What it also means is, if you have the possibility of attaining everything that you were speaking about, you are absolutely happy to do so. You can own everything. It's never about promoting to have this is not good. No, but to have attachment, at least in this type of tradition, will have consequence. So it's not about what is it that you possess. It's about what of these possessions are possessing you. That's it. What to do with the suffering? Well, you need to face it. You need to look it in the eye. Whatever is so fearful to you, whatever seems so impossible for you to do, whatever is like really challenging you, that is the one made as a challenge for you in this lifetime to face it. Some people have the ability to face it, some people do not have the ability to face it. Why? Two very important things are missing. Number one, the ability to let go is one very, very big part. The skill, the willingness to let go, the fact of letting go is number one. And number two, to have courage to face the fear, to face the truth, to face the darkness, to go into the dark, because this is what it's about. But what is the 99.9%? It is dark, it's uncertain, it's unknown. To discover the purpose of life, to discover the intensity and the greatness of life, in my thinking, there is no alternative than being able to face the darkness and being able to jump into the unknown. But this is nothing that we humans are trained of. This is nothing that we humans are programmed to do in order to jump into the unknown. Because everything that we have grown up in the whole world is not about prepare yourself for the uncertainty. It is build up your illusion of security. This is where the worlds are colliding. Courage and the ability to let go. And these two elements, very nicely now, if you don't have them, courage and the ability to let go, because the growth of mental skills and the growth of physical skills is because you are continuously confronted with the comfort zone and are being forced to leave it, to move beyond the comfort zone. As a martial artist, you are used to the lifestyle. Something hurts, but it's okay, let's go through it. Pain is not going to stop us. It's just an indication this is where, at this moment in time, our limit is. And because we understand this on the physical level, it starts to transcend and translate into the mental way of thinking. If the suffering is there, I'm not going to run away from it. I'm not going to ignore it. I'm going to find a way to overcome the suffering. And this is the very, very important distinction, what I think this life is about. To overcome the suffering. Not to ignore the suffering, not to run away from the suffering, not to create your dream world in order to not face the suffering. No, the suffering is there, the enemy is there, face it. If you're not strong enough to face it at this moment, invest your lifetime to make yourself strong enough to one day be able to face it. In my world, if you don't face it, it will always be part of your existence. I can only share with you what I feel for myself, which means maybe the Shaolin way isn't for everyone. That is the other truth. But I'm also not here in order to propagate anything. I was just asked, I don't know why, to simply share my thoughts. These are my thoughts. And when we start sharing anything related to our monastery, to the Shaolin Temple Europe, this is what I share there. Make yourself strong. Prepare yourself in this lifetime for the end. Prepare for the end in the now. That's what it is. We are preparing for the end in the now. The end of what? The end of that anyway you're going to lose your identity if you want or not. You don't need to worry about losing your ego, getting rid of the illusion of your I during this lifetime. If you manage to do, it's good for you. If you don't manage to do, it's going to happen anyway. But it's going to happen without your acknowledgement. Very rapidly, from one day to another, it's going to happen. And this is again the truth of the human being. What is the most difficult thing for us humans to face if the status quo is changing too quickly? If we humans can prepare, everything's easy to take. If you have time to prepare for something, it's always more easy. If something comes too abrupt, too quick, it's difficult to take it. And this is why it makes sense. Prepare for the end. And I'm sorry that all of this sounds so depressive maybe. It's not. It only sounds depressive. But the great part is, something ends, something new begins. I think it's very, very obvious when you are suffering. You cannot sleep, you cannot focus, you don't have a smile on your face doesn't look healthy, your energy that you are expressing feels constricted. There is no openness, there is no lightness, there is some heaviness. There are many different signs how this suffering starts to express itself. It's a personal perspective everyone has to take, but it also goes hand in hand with the ability of can you see yourself? And there's only one way in order to see yourself. Let go of yourself and then you can see yourself. Without judgment, just see yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. This is a nice practice. Next time you're drunk or anything like this, stand in front of the mirror, look at you for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. You can also do it without alcohol and then look deep inside. Not only inside, also look at your skin, look at the scars in the face, look at the scars on the body. There is something about the expression, everything about you. There's a story behind it. Nothing on your body is there by coincidence. Looking at yourself and reading the history about yourself is something many people cannot do. And in Buddhist teaching, there's a nice saying. There are 3 things that can never be hidden: the sun, the moon, the truth. Whatever you have done in this lifetime, consciously or unconsciously, it's better to know of what has been done. Then you know who you are and you know what to adjust in order for you to move on into the future. If there are still too many things of the past inside of you that you don't even know about, what have you done? Things that are unresolved, is difficult to move on. The only way to move on is to unknot all the connections that you have established in the past. Unknotting all the karmic relations that you have established, consciously or unconsciously. It's not an easy thing to do.
What do you mean by let go?
This is letting go of something material, of something physical, but very often it is thoughts that also make us suffer. It is something that you have here inside. Right now, everybody who is sitting here in the room, you are not starving, hopefully. You don't have any physical threatening pain, so there's no reason right now for you to be in this room and suffer. But it's absolutely possible that you are sitting there and inside your mind you're still thinking about, let's say, the fight that you had yesterday with your partner. The conflicts, the arguments that yesterday you had, and then he said that and I said that and then whatever. Well, that means then it's possible that you're suffering, but you're suffering because of thinking. You're suffering because of something immaterial, of something that doesn't even you cannot grasp it. And then I tell you, just let go. Just forget about what happened yesterday. Come back to the presence. The presence is right now here in the room. If you are able to do this, suffering gone. But it's not easy to do it, which is why it needs to be practiced. To let go of the thoughts. In all these 41 years, I was in contact with many different traditions, philosophies, teachings, and I think many of them have their place. But the only thing until today that remains true for me, which is, if I have to tell you something, the last thing about the teaching is not coming from me, but I get into an understanding. Why is there the saying, with our thoughts we create the world? This is the ultimate. That is the ultimate truth. With your thoughts you are creating the world. There is something about the mind, beyond all physical activities, beyond all the attractiveness, whatever it is. The objective in this lifetime is get an understanding. What is this thinking mind? Awareness, consciousness. What is it? I think this is the key. Looking into the past, everything that has been a challenge, well, it has been a challenge, but is not the hardest. The point is, the challenges are not getting easier. The more skillful you become, the more light you want to become, the more you're striving for liberation, the more you are being tested in order to let go. Easy things, simple things, basic things, no problem to let this go. Ultimately, the hardest that maybe a human being can think of, in a way, is to let go of whatever you have created.
What's a good way to differentiate thoughts?
So the first thing, I guess, is try to learn, instead of thinking, to switch to feeling life. Feeling life simply means, instead of thinking, running, letting the machine run, you go for do something, so your skill arises to feel life. That can be any kind of art. So we use Shaolin. Shaolin means Tai Chi, Qigong, meditation. There are so many different ways. It doesn't matter which way or which method you use. The important thing is you do something that is not causing you to analyze, to interpret, to think, to make you simply more simple. When you start to become simple, everything becomes simple. Your thoughts, your emotions, everything, that the way how you look at yourself is not you are looking at yourself. It is looking at yourself happens. Observation is not something that you do. Observation happens. So my recommendation is start practicing.
Thank you for your presence here. Thank you for your questions.